This conference will now be recorded.
So in today's session, we will continue with the validation rules and how can we validate the data by using some more additional functions which has been given by Salesforce by default. We'll see practically one by one. Sometimes you can raise a question that, sir, I want to make the picklist field mandatory. Okay, I want to make the picklist field mandatory. It may be any rating field, industry field, it may be my custom field also, whatever it may be. So how can we make a picklist field mandatory? So in this case, if it is a picklist, the picklist contains so many values internally. The picklist contains some set of values. Like for example, when you go to that account object. Now, when you go to the account object, when you try to create a new record, it is populating the picklist field with some set of options inside this. Now, so now when you go to this picklist field, it is having some set of options inside this. Like as part of rating field, we are having the various options like as hot, warm, cold. Along with that, it is having the value none. None means what? Empty. Okay, none in the sense empty. It won't store any value. If I'm not selecting any value, by default, it is storing the default value as empty. That means null. So in this case, whenever if you want to make a picklist field as mandatory, then first of all, we have to collect what value currently we have selected. Okay, what value we have currently selected. We have to collect the currently selected value. So to collect the correctly selected value from the picklist field, we are using a function called as text function. Text, nothing but what is the current text, the current value that was selected inside the picklist field. So in this case, whenever we are going to be making that picklist field mandatory, first of all, we have to collect what is the currently selected value inside the picklist field. So to collect the currently selected value in the picklist field, we are using the help of a function called as text function. So text function is used to collect the currently selected value from the picklist. Once the value has been getting selected, once the value has been collected, then we can able to verify whether it is empty or not. Okay, now, so why? Because for example here, I'm creating a record. I'm creating a record, some sample test. So I'm giving the type value some prospect, industry some finance, annual revenue like some 45 lakhs. Phone number I'm giving some value. Fax number I'm giving some value. Website I'm giving some value. I'm not selecting the rating value. I'm selecting simply none. So let's see. Upon saving this record, what value it will save inside this. Now, what is the rating value now? What is this value? Empty. Because in this case, what happened? It is storing the default value null. If it did not select anything, then it is storing the default value null over here. So in this case here, first of all, we have to collect what value that is available inside the picklist field. Then you can verify whether it is blank or not. So that here, to collect this currently selected value inside the picklist field, that means upon selecting the option as none, internally in the column, it will store the value as null. That means null, empty. Empty value will be getting stored inside the database. Okay, now, so that to collect this currently selected value, we are using a function called as text function. Text function is used to get the currently selected value from the pick list. Text function is used to get the currently selected value from the pick list. In order to collect the currently selected value from the pick list field, we are using the help of the text function. Now, so now here in this case, how can we use this one? What is the syntax? The syntax is we have to specify text of. Now we can specify that field name, like as pick list field name. Pick list field name. Whatever the pick list field is available, we have to specify the pick list field name. For example, text of rating. Rating field. We have the rating field. Text of, we can specify that industry field. So what is the currently selected value available inside this industry field? Text of active status, active underscore C, which is a active status field which has been given by Salesforce by default in my account object. So in order to know the currently selected value of this pick list field, we are using this text function. With the help of this text function, we can able to make that field mandatory also here. How to do that, we'll see practically in this case. Okay, now, so let's take a small use case. Now, create a validation rule to make the industry field required. Upon creating or updating the account record. So whenever you are creating a new account record or whenever you are updating the existing account record, I want to make that industry field as mandatory field. Generally, industry field is an optional. You may select the industry, you may not select the industry. But now my requirement is I want to make that field as mandatory field, required field. How can we make this a field as mandatory? Now let's see practically in this case. So now here I'm having the industry field. This is the industry field is available. So if this field value is empty, that means none. When I click on save button, I want to verify whether it is empty or not here. If it is empty, I don't want to save this record. I don't want to allow the user to save this record. Compulsorily, we have to select some industry value inside this. Then how can we do that? We'll see practically in this case. Okay, how can we implement this one? We'll see practically. For that one, what needs to be done? First of all, we have to collect what is the currently selected value in this industry field. Once the value has been getting collected, then verify whether it is empty or not by using is blank function. Already you know that. Then how can we do that? Now let's see. So for this one, I'm going to be indicating that formula condition. So what is the validation condition over here? First of all, I need to collect the text function, text of industry. So by using this text function, I'm collecting the currently selected value in this industry field. Once the value has been collected, then I want to verify. Because then I want to verify whether it is blank or not. So I want to use that is blank of text of industry. So I would like to collect that currently selected value from the pick list field. Okay, I would like to select the currently selected value inside this pick list field by using this text function. Once a value has been getting collected, then I want to verify whether this value is blank or not. If it is blank, then I want to show the error message, or else I want to display this. Okay, or else I want to so accept that record as it is. If it is a blank, I want to display the error message. Then how can we implement? Now let's see practically in this case. So let's go with this use case practical part. So now let's see the condition. How can we write this condition over here? Now I'm preparing a validation rule. Click on new link to create a new validation rule. Now I'm indicating this validation rule name. I would like to indicate that account industry is required. I'm giving the description also same, because for our indication, for our information, we are going to be giving the description also, so that the people can understand what is the functionality, what is the purpose of this validation tool. Now let's specify the condition, formula condition. What is the condition? Now let's see practically in this case. Now first of all, what we have to use, we have to use the text function, text of industry. So I'm collecting the industry field name. So this is the industry field. So I'm verifying this. I'm collecting the currently selected value inside this industry field. So please collect this value, then verify whether it is blank or not. For that reason, I'm using this is blank function. Is blank of text of industry. That means what? Is blank. That means I'm collecting the currently selected value from the industry field, and then I'm verifying whether that field value is blank or not. Once you are done with the condition, then check the syntax. Click on check the syntax button. So it is indicating, okay, no errors found. Okay, no errors found. Don't write the pick list of fields directly inside this is blank function. It won't accept that. Now, suppose if you're writing that here, let's see what will happen. I'm using this. Check the syntax. So now it is indicating this. So now field industry is a pick list field. Pick list field can be supporting only some certain functions, so that directly we can't write that industry field, nothing but pick list field inside that is blank function. Because industry field is a pick list field which is having so many values are there. We have to collect which value you have selected right now here, so that we are using this text function first. Text of industry. Then once the value has been getting collected, then you have to verify whether this value is empty or not. Okay. Now check the syntax.
Here's one doubt.
Yeah.
So like, what may be the pick list queue? Like how many values it may have? Just it needs to check it is blank or not. Is that not enough?
Which one?
Pick list. We are even using the text, like it collects the text, right? So why like only blank? Why doesn't it work? Any specific reason?
Because here internally pick list field is going to be having a separate functionality that is called as a map collection. Okay, it is having that map collection. Now let me explain the internal background process of pick list control. For example, so I'm having the pick list field sum in rating field. So how the rating field will work internally, let me explain here. So internally, it will be having the two options. Assume that I'm having the rating field. For example, I'm having a rating field. So rating field is of type what? It is a pick list. Okay, it is a pick list. So internally, it is maintaining a table which will be having the two columns, key and the value. It will be having two columns inside this. Internally, it will be having the two values, key and the value. This is key and this is the value. You will be having two parts over there for the pick list control. Each and every element will be having two parts, key and the value. So what are the options are available? Initially, it is having none. And then we are having hot. We are having warm and we are having cold. These are the options are available. So for these options, internally it is having the value here. None means what? Null. That means empty. It will be storing that. So hot means internally it is having the value hot. Warm, it is having the value warm. Bold, it is having the value bold. So this is the options. These are the options are currently visible inside your pick list control. So whenever I'm selecting the value heart inside the pick list, inside the database column, it will store the value heart. If I'm selecting the value warm inside my pick list control, it is storing the value inside the database column as warm. If I'm selecting the value as none inside my pick list control, in database column, it will store the value null. That means here, this is a key value paired collection internal. Pick list is a key value paired collection. So the people will start out, sir, I have selected none. So there is an option. So internally it will be having the value null. So that we have to collect this value. Based on this value only, we can decide whether it is blank or not here. For that reason, we have to use a text function additionally as part of this pick list. This is the internal concept of pick list.
Okay, so even null has the value in the internal.
Yes, right. Even though you are having the none, none is having the null value internally. So if it is null, then I would like to display the error message. I don't want to make it as null. Compulsorily, some value should be there inside this pick list. Okay. So in this case, I'm verifying this. I'm collecting the currently selected value of the pick list control by using the text function, and then I'm verifying whether this value is blank or not. If it is blank, I want to show the error message. So I'm indicating that error message. So please select the industry value. Please select the industry name. I want to show this error message at the field level. At which field level? At industry field level. So that select that field as industry. I want to show this error message at the industry field level. Select that field name as industry. Now click on save. Okay, now this is the validation condition we have used in order to verify that, in order to verify whether this particular industry field is blank or not. Now, let's try to do the validation here. Let's do the testing process. Go to the accounts, open any of the account record here, just make this value empty. I'm going to be changing this type as some none. I'm saving this. So upon I'm updating this record, that you know that validation rules are always firing on before insertion, before updation, both the cases. So click on save. It is indicating that please select the industry name. So compulsorily we have to select the industry name. Without selecting the industry value, we can't go ahead. Our record will not be saving inside your object. For that reason, we are going to selecting this industry. For example, I'm selecting government here. Now click on save, then only your record will be getting accepted. Without selecting that industry value, we can't save that record. This is how we can able to make that field mandatory, which is of type pick list. So that we are using this separate condition that is called as is blank of text of industry. Okay. Now, next one. So as of now, we have used like a single condition. Sometimes I want to use multiple conditions also. Okay, I want to use multiple conditions also. How can we do this one? How can we implement this? Now let's see practically in this case here. For that reason, suppose for example, I want to check two conditions. Like for example, assume that I would like to apply for a voter ID card. I'm planning to apply for the voter ID card. So whenever if you want to apply for the voter ID card, then we have to satisfy two conditions first. First condition is I should be the citizen of India. That is the first condition. Second condition is I should have minimum 18 years of age. Okay, I should have minimum 18 years of age. That means what? So whenever if you are a citizen of India and if you are having minimum 18 years of age, then only you can able to eligible to apply for the voter ID card, or else you are not eligible. If any of the condition has been failed, then you are not eligible. If both are satisfied, then only you are eligible. So that what happened, we have two conditions are there. First condition is I should have minimum 18 years of age. That means my age should be more than 18. Second one, and then my citizenship will be India. So if both are satisfied, then only I would like to do, I would like to perform some operation. Like that here, I want to check multiple conditions. But as of now, we have verified only single conditions here. Then how can we do the multiple conditions right now? For that reason here, Salesforce is providing the logical functions. Logical functions. So logical operators. You know few logical operators. So what are the logical operators? You know, as part of your mathematics in your childhood, you know that logical operators are the logical functions. Like as and, are, not. These are the three. Okay, we are having that. So and, are, not. So in this case, whenever if you want to club the multiple conditions, okay, whenever if you want to club the multiple conditions together, then we have to use the help of logical functions. Okay, logical functions we have to use to club the multiple conditions to prepare a compound condition. Compound means what? Group, a set. We can group a collection of conditions together to validate some certain information. Because one condition may not be sufficient in some cases. I want to use multiple conditions to validate the data. For that reason, we can able to group the multiple conditions together with the help of logical functions. Okay, now. So now here in this case, here, let me give the note point. Upon validating the data by using validation rules, in few cases, single condition may not be sufficient. May not be sufficient. We need to add or we need to group multiple conditions together to validate the data. Now, to prepare the compound conditions, by grouping the multiple conditions together. By grouping the multiple conditions together, we have to use logical functions. Salesforce provides the below three logical functions. First one, and. Second one, are. Third one, not. So these are the functions are available. Three functions are available here: end function, are function, and the not function. Three functions are available, which are being given by Salesforce by default. So what is this end function? End function is used to make sure both the conditions should be satisfied. Nothing but multiple conditions should be satisfied. First condition and second condition and third condition and fourth condition. So that here, first of all, we'll see the end function. End function is used to make sure all the conditions should be satisfied. You know, when coming to your 10th class mathematics, you are having the truth table. Okay, you know the concept of the truth table. So there you are going to prepare it here. Okay, true and the true. Then that will be true. True and false. That will be false. Like that here. Okay, you know that here. You know the truth table. The same exact functionality is available in the logical operators also inside these logical functions. Then what exactly the end function? Now let's see how the syntax will look like here. So now getting this case, the syntax is generally how we are writing the conditions here. We are writing the conditions like condition 1 and condition 2 and condition 3 and condition 4, like that here. We are writing multiple conditions over here. But in this case, what we did, we keep on writing condition 1 and condition 2 and condition 3 and condition 4 and like that here. Every time we are writing and like this. Then what we can do? Can we make it separate? Yes. In this case, instead of writing this end multiple times, I'm making it as comma. And so simply we can specify condition 1, comma, condition 2, comma, condition 3, comma, condition 4, comma, like that here. We can able to specify up to n number of conditions. So in this case, what happened? End of condition 1, comma, condition 2, comma, condition 3, comma, condition 4. That means what? So the meaning of this statement is condition 1 and condition 2 and condition 3 and condition 4 and up to condition n. So the meaning of this statement is this is the functionality here. Each and every all the conditions should be satisfied. So in this case, what this end function will do? End function will return true if all the conditions are satisfied. If all the conditions are satisfied, then only it will be returning true, or else it will return false. Like for example, I'm attending some exams as part of my semester. So I'm having 6 subjects. If all the 6 subjects, if you are getting more than 40 marks, then only you are pass. Okay, in the subject 1 more than 40, and subject 2 more than 40, and subject 3 more than 40, and subject 4 more than 40, and up to subject 6 more than 40. If in all the subject, if we got more than 40 marks, then only you are pass. Suppose I got less than 40 marks in one subject, then what about my result? Is it pass or fail? Fail. If any of the condition has been failed, it will be returning false. That means false value. If all the conditions are satisfied, then only it will return true. If any of the condition fail, it will be returning false value over here. This is the internal functionality of end function. Now, it returns true if all the conditions are satisfied, and it returns false if any of the condition fails. If any of the condition fails, it returns the value false. So this is the functionality of end function. Second one, R function. So what is this R function? Similar functionality. Sometimes I need to check the multiple conditions here. But if any of the condition is satisfied, then fine, no problem. Like for example, so whenever you are going to be opening a bank account, you have to submit some documentations. Like you have to submit a photograph and your address proof. So for that address proof, any one of the document you can submit. For the ID proof and address proof, you can submit either your PAN card also, your Aadhaar card also, your passport also, or your driving license also. Any one of this, not all, only one. Okay, anyone is satisfied, anyone is sufficient. Either driving license, or either Aadhaar card, or either it may be voter ID card, or either it may be the passport also, whatever, anything. One is sufficient, not all. If any one of these available, then fine, you are eligible to apply for you can open the bank account here. That means what? No need to satisfy all, anyone should be satisfied. If any of the condition is satisfied, then we can able to perform some operations. So in this case, we are using this R function. So R function is going to be used to check the multiple conditions. Okay, check the multiple conditions where it will be returning the true if any of the conditions satisfied. If any of the conditions satisfied, it returns true. If all the conditions are failed, so that means if you don't have any valid address proof, then you are not eligible to open a new bank account. So for that reason, any one of that valid address proof you should have. Then only they will allow, or else they won't allow here. For that reason here, we are going to be verifying this condition. Either any one of the condition may be satisfied. Now, so at that time, if you want to cross-check that, okay, if you want to cross-check if any of the condition is satisfied, then we can able to go with that R function. Now, the syntax. The syntax will be exactly similar like as our end function only. But here you will be having R. That's it. So this is not case sensitive. You can specify all are in lowercase, uppercase, combination, anything you can write, no problem. Now, so what is the functionality of this one here? Now, it returns it returns true if any of the condition satisfied, and it returns false if all the conditions are failed. Okay, if all the conditions are failed, it returns false. If any of the condition is satisfied, it returns true, and if any of all the conditions have been failed, it returns false. Next, after that, the third function is NOT function. So what is the use of this NOT function basically here? So NOT function is used to change the result of the operation, either from true to false, false to true. Okay, so in order to change the result from true to false and from false to true, we are using this NOT function. Now, so in this case, this is used to change the result of the operation from true to false and vice versa. Whenever if you want to change the result from true to false and from false to true, we are using the help of NOT function. These are the three logical functions has been given by Salesforce by default, which is used to prepare the compound conditions. In order to club the multiple conditions together, we are using the help of these logical functions like as AND, OR, and NOT functions. These are the three functions are available over now. So now let's see how can we use these functions in order to validate that information. How can we use this function in order to validate this data? Now, so in this case here, how can we prepare this one, a validation condition? Now let's see. Now, so in this case here, let's see. How can we do this? Let's take a small use case. Take a use case. Create a validation rule on the contact object to make sure the phone field should be required if the email has been entered. If the email field value has been entered, that means if the email field is not empty, then compulsorily phone value also has to enter. That is my requirement. Okay, I want to make sure that phone field should be required when if that email value is available. That means in the email field, if the user has entered the email ID value, then compulsorily has to enter the phone value also. Suppose if the email ID value is empty, then phone is not a mandatory. I don't want to make sure. Then how can we do this? How can we prepare the validation condition? So now I want to create this validation rule on contact object. So I want to make sure the phone field value should be required, nothing but mandatory if a phone email field value has been entered. So when you want to show the error message, suppose if the user has entered email ID and if he did not enter the phone number, then I want to display the error message. Okay, when you want to show the error message, the user has entered the email ID, but he did not enter phone number. But my requirement is what? I want to make sure phone also mandatory when if the email ID has been entered. Then only we can specify this. Okay, now in this case, how can we indicate this information? Now, so in this case, what we can do here? I want to verify. I want to show the error message. When you want to show the error message, okay, if the email ID field value is not blank, okay, now I'm indicating this is blank of email. That means if the email ID field value is not blank, that means if this field value is not blank, and then, okay, and then, so now I want to verify phone field is blank or not. Is blank or phone. So what I want to do here, these are the two conditions to verify whether the email field value is not blank or not. For that one, I'm using is blank of email. Not, that means if it is not blank, that means there is a value in the email field. And then is blank of phone, that means if it is a blank, then I want to show the error message. Then how can we check what the conditions here? Now, if the email value is not blank, nothing but email ID is there, and the phone number is not there, then what I want to do, I want to show the error message. For that one, I'm clubbing the condition by using end function here. End of condition 1, comma, condition 2. That's it, simple condition. So now here I'm verifying this. If the email ID value is not blank, that means, so now I want to prepare the validation condition. Verify that when you want to show the error message, if the email ID value is not blank and the phone is empty, then I want to show the error message. So for that one, I'm preparing this validation condition. This is the validation condition which we have prepared. Now let's see how can we do this. So let's go with that. Let's go to the contact object because I want to prepare this validation rule on contact object. So inside this contact object, I'm having few fields. So here I'm having the field called as, okay, email field. Here I'm having the field called as phone. Suppose upon creating the contact record, if you have entered email ID, then compulsorily you have to enter phone number also. Okay, compulsorily you have to enter phone number also. Now, if you did not enter any email ID, then phone number is not mandatory. You may enter, you may not enter, no problem. Okay, but if you entered email ID, compulsorily you have to enter phone number also. That is a mandatory principle as part of my rule, as part of my validation rule. Now, how to prepare this validation rule? Now let's see. Create a new validation rule on my contact object. Specify this. So now email is, so phone is required when email is not blank. Okay, phone is required. That means phone field should be mandatory field whenever if the email ID field value is not blank. If you enter that email ID value, then compulsorily enter that phone number field value also. How to prepare this validation condition? Just now we have prepared this. So now I am verifying that. I want to display the error message. So now what is the error message here? I want to show the error message whenever if the email ID field value is not blank. That means user has entered the email field, but he did not enter the phone number value. Then I want to show the error message. So let me copy this condition and then let me paste this one. We can write the condition in the multiple lines also, no problem. We can able to write that code. So Salesforce will accept as it is. So now these are the conditions which I'm preparing. So now this is the validation condition. Now check the syntax. There is no errors has been found here. Now let's verify. I'm going to be indicating, please enter the customer contact number. Please enter the customer contact number. So please provide your contact number. I want to show this error message at which field level, at this particular phone field level. I want to show this error message at the phone field level. Now click on save. So now my validation condition is ready. Then how can we test it? So let's create a contact record. Let's test it. I'm giving the last name as some validation test. Validation test contact. I'm giving the email ID like as some sample at the rate some gmail.com. But it did not enter the phone number over here. I did not enter the phone number. So once you click on that save button, it should not accept. It should show the error message, please enter the customer contact number. Okay. Suppose if I did not enter email ID, then it should accept the record as it is. Let's see. When you click on the save button, it will save the record as it is. It is accepted. Suppose here after some time also, if I'm entering my email ID like some sampark at the rate some gmail.com, then compulsorily we have to enter phone number. Okay. When you click on save button, it is asking you to specify the contact number. So we can enter the contact number, then only we can able to make that record to be saving into the database. This is the way we can able to check the multiple conditions. Also depends upon your application. Now, let's see the one more function over here. The next function is changed function. So what is this changed function? Now let's see it practically. No. So basically, changed function is used to verify whether a specified field value has been modified. In order to know whether the field value has been updated or not or changed or not, we are using the help of a function called as changed function. So changed function will allow you to verify whether the specified field value has been modified or not. Like for example, now let's see. Assume that I have phone field. So now here in this case, I have clicked on edit button. My record is in editable format. So now here in this case, I'm changing this phone number value. Now tell me this field value has been modified or not? Yes. Why? Because it is having the different value. Previous value is different, this value is different. Both are different. So this value has been modified. So in order to know whether a field value has been modified or not, we are using the help of a function called as changed function. Changed function is used to verify whether a specified field value has been modified or not. If you have modified, it will return true, or else it will return false. So in order to know whether a field value has been modified or not, that means the old value and the new value both it will compare. So if both are different, that means the value has been modified over here. Now, in this case, when coming to this function, this function is used to check whether the specified field value has been changed or not. In order to know whether the specified field value has been modified or not, we are using a function called as changed function. If the field value has been updated, then it returns true. Else, it returns false. So in order to know whether a specified field value has been modified or not, we are using the help of this changed function. Now, the syntax. Syntax is changed of some form. Like some changed of this field name. can specify the field. We can specify the name of that field over here. In order to know whether that specified field value has been modified or not, we are using this is a changed function. For example, I'm indicating is a change of is changed of email. Like that, we can able to verify whether this field values have been modified or not. Now, let's take a small requirement, a small use case. Now, my requirement is, for example, assume that I'm having the position object. Okay, this is the position object. It's a custom object which I have created. So this is my position object which I have created. Now, so I'm creating a position record, a new job information, okay, by using the name called as some Java developer. Java developer. I'm giving the location value as some Chennai. Number of vacancies are some 1. This is a new position. Minimum salary we are offering for this position is some 12 lakhs. Maximum salary we can offer for this position is some 14 lakhs. This is the budget we have. Position is open from today. Okay, today only we got this new job information. And then the target date is the people can able to apply. Okay, the target date is 31st of this month. That means by end of this month, they have to recruit the candidates for this position. And the HR email ID is some Murali Krishna @ some gmail.com. Contact number, I'm giving some value. I'm indicating the position description as required 5+ years of experience. Experience in Java programming. I'm giving the description also as the same. I'm giving the description also as the same. I'm saving this record here. I'm saving this record. So once the record has been saved, okay, once the record has been saved, then I want to verify here whether this name, nothing but once the record has been saved, then this position name you can't change. I don't want to allow the user to change the name of this position record here. This position name you can't change. Okay, location you can change, number of vacancies you can change, other values you can modify, but position name value I don't want to allow the user to modify. But right now it will be allowing as it is, so you can able to remove this one. Instead of this Java developer, we can specify senior Java developer. It will accept as it is, but I don't want to allow that. I don't want to allow the user to modify the position name. Once the position record has been created, that will be fixed. The position name you can't modify. Remaining values you can modify, no problem. I'm not bothered about that. Then how can we do this one? Now let's see practically. So let's take a use case. Create a validation rule to prevent the changing the position name. To prevent the changing the position. To prevent changing the position. So whatever the position record that you have created, once the position record has been created by giving a name, then that name will be fixed. You can't modify that here. Now, I want to prevent the user to modify that position record name. When the user tries to modify, I want to show the error message. Boss, you are not authorized to modify this position name, that will be fixed. You don't have the rights to update this. How can we do that? Now let's see. So I want to create this validation rule on my position object. So go to that view validation rules and click on new link so that we can create a new validation rule on my position object. Rule name, I want to indicate that. Position name cannot be changed. Position name cannot be changed. I'm giving the description also same. How can we do that here? I want to verify if the position value is changed of position name field. If the position name value has been changed, then I want to show the error message over here. So I want to indicate that you are not authorized. You are not authorized to change the position. Okay, I want to show the error message to the user that boss, you are not authorized. You don't have the proper rights. You don't have the permissions to modify the position. I want to show this error message at the name field level. Select that field name as I want to select that name field. That means position name field. At the position name field, I want to show this error message. Now click on save. Now my validation tool has been created successfully here. This is the validation condition. Now, so now here in this case, let me test it. Go to the position record, open any of the position record, and then you can test it. Now, I'm trying to be modifying this position name. So now I'm removing this senior. Instead of senior Java developer, I'm indicating simply Java developer. Now click on save button, it won't allow. So I'm editing this record. Even though I'm editing the record, it won't allow because it is verifying that. Previous value is what? Senior Java developer. This value is what? Java developer. So that here both are different. So it won't allow. That means value has been modified. Once the value has been modified, then Salesforce doesn't allow you to save this record again. You can't modify that name value here. That's how we are preparing the validation groups here. Even though when you try multiple times also, Salesforce won't allow you to save this record. Okay. Next one. Next function. Next one is new function. Is new function. So what is this is new function and what is the use of this one? Now, so now in this case, when coming to the is new function, use new function is used to verify whether you are working on a new record or not, whether you are creating a new record or whether you are updating an existing record, to know whether you are working on the new record or whether you are working on an existing record which you have created. So to know that, we are using a function called as is new function.
Sir,
So,
this is only for verification, sir.
Which one?
Is new record.
No, this is for the record. This is for the record. In order to know whether you are creating a new record or whether you are modifying an existing record, to know that we are using is new function.
Okay, sir.
So now here, in order to know whether we are working on a new record or whether you are working on an existing record, to know that, we are going to be using a function called as is new function. Then how can we use this is new function? Now let's see practically in this case. Now, so then in this case here, for example, let me show you. Assume that, for example, I have clicked on new button. Now tell me, I'm working on a new record or I'm working on an existing record? I'm working on new record because I'm creating a new record. So it is indicating this new account. I'm creating a new account. Now, next one, second case. I'm opening an existing record, sample test. Click on edit. Now tell me, I'm working on a new record or existing record? Existing. Because here, now it is an existing record. Now, so in this case here, to know this, whether you are working on a new record or working on an existing record, we are using the function called as is new. Suppose if you are creating a new record, it returns true, or else it returns false. Now tell me here in this case, how this is new function will know that I'm working on a new record or I'm working on an existing record. How it will know? How this is, so new function will know about this.
By using record ID?
Right. By using record ID. Suppose if it is a new one, do we have any record IDs available? No. If the record is saved, upon saving the record only ID will be generating. Suppose if it is an existing one, record ID is already there, then where it will verify the URL. So let me copy this URL so it will go to the URL. So this is the new record URL here. Let me copy this URL for the new record. For the new record, this is the URL. For the existing record, what is the URL? Let me show you. Go to this existing record, sample test, copy the URL. Let's see. Here, you will be having that URL is available here. This is the URL that we have for the existing record. Now, so now here, how can we differentiate this one? In this case, up to this ap17.salesforce.com is common. Here also ap17.salesforce.com is common. Here I'm having a 15 characters record ID is available. But here do we have the record ID? No, it is having simply 001. Object ID is available. This is the record ID. So this it will verify that it will collect the current URL. Whatever the URL is available inside your address bar, it will collect. The is new function, internal functionality is it will collect the current URL of your page. In that URL, after this is salesforce.com, whether it is having a 15 characters ID or not. If it is available, then it is indicating that this is not a new record, this is a old record.
Can you give us any scenario where we use this is new?
Sorry?
Any scenario where we use this is new function?
Yeah, we'll see that. We'll take up one small example over there. We'll see. Now, so now here in this case here. So in order to know whether I'm working on a new record or existing record, so it will collect that ID of that record from the URL. Based on this record ID, it will verify, it will identify whether it is a new one or an old one. Suppose if it is a new one, it will return true, or else it will return false. Then how can we use this use new function? Now let's see practically in this case with a small example also. We'll take a use case and we'll see the practical parts. Now, this function is used to verify the user is currently working on a new record or he is updating an existing record. Now, is new function will identify the record based on the record ID inside the URL as below. New record URL. So this is the new record URL. This is the existing record URL. Now, this is the existing record URL. Based on this URL only, it will be identifying this. Okay. Now, if it is a new record, it returns true, or else it will return false. Okay. It returns true if it is a new record. Else, it returns false. Else, it returns false. This is the functionality of is new function. Now, so let's take a small use case. On each and every function, I'm giving one example here. And then once such particular topic is completed, I will be giving some assignments. I will give some list of use cases, then you have to do the practice of that. Now, Now, so let's take a small use case. Create a validation rule on the lead object to make sure either phone or email should be required for new lead records. Only for the new lead records, upon creating a new lead record, compulsorily either phone or email ID have to enter mandatorily. Anyone. If you are entering both, no problem. Okay. At least one you have to enter either phone number or email ID. For what? For the new lead records only. For the existing lead records, I'm not bothered about that. I'm not bothered about that. So whenever you are going to be creating a new lead record, compulsorily you have to enter either phone value or email ID value here. Mandatorily, compulsorily you have to enter any one of this value. Then how can we do this one? So for that one here, I need to verify whether email ID or phone number is mandatory over here. Then when you want to enter this, when you want to show this error message, if this record is a new record, okay, if this record is a new record, is new. If it is a new record. So now here in this case, here, what needs to be done? When you want to show this error message here, if any one of this particular field is, okay, if both the fields are blank, then I want to show the error message here. I want to make sure either phone number or email ID should be required, anyone, not both. So when you want to show the error message, if both are empty, then I want to show the error message, boss, both should not be empty, enter any one of the value, either phone or email ID. So I want to know whether both are empty or not. How can we do that? Here I'm using end function. How can we verify is blank of phone? That means whether it is a phone number is blank or not. Is blank of email. That means email ID is blank or not. That means if both are empty or not. Here I want to verify. Okay, I want to verify both are empty or not. So what is the condition we need to verify here? I would like to club. Is new function I would like to club with this condition here. For that one, I'm using end operator over here. And that means if it is a new record, okay, if it is a new record, and for this new record, so if this particular phone number value and the email ID value is blank, then I want to show this error message.
ఏం చేస్తున్నా?
I want to show this error message over here. When, so now if the record is a new record and, okay, if the record is a new record and now the phone value is blank and the email ID is also blank, then at that time, I would like to check this one. I want to show this error message over here to the user, boss, please enter either email ID or phone number value. Okay, then how can we do this one? Now let's see.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
You said that to make sure either phone or email, but in this you are showing anti-convention. R command you want to
not R. See, so not R in the sense what here? Either phone is blank or email ID is blank. Okay, you want to show that it will be showing the error message. But what is my requirement here? I want to show the error message when upon creating the new record. If it is a new record, then at that time, if a phone and fax, so the phone and email both are empty, then only I want to show the error message. If any one of this field is having the value, then we only can display the error message.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's see in this case. How can we do this?
Hi, sir.
Yes.
So will this condition not be applied for the already existing records?
Yes, right, correct. If it is an existing record, okay, phone and email ID both may be empty also, it won't bother. But it is only for new record. That's what here I'm adding. The condition is because when you go to the implementation, sometimes here, for example, now assume that I'm opening a bank account. So whenever a new bank account is getting created, what will be the status of that bank account? Is it active or not? Yes. Okay, for the new record, for the new bank account, status should be always active. After creating the record for the existing record, we can change the status to inactive also, because customer may not be using the banking services since very long time. So we can make it as deactive also. But for the new record, for the new bank accounts, status should be always active. Like that here in this kind of situations, we can use this is new function also along with the required conditions. Now, let's see this. Let me create the validation rule on my lead object. So let's go to that lead object.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
So like we create a new record. At that time, this condition applies. Okay. So after 1 or 2 days, or like if it is created, it's new, and if you gonna edit, at that time we can remove those two conditions, like the email and phone number, and we can save, right? Because it is not new.
Yes, right. Okay. Now, so I'm creating the validation rule here right now. Now I'm indicating that phone and email required for new leads. So I'm giving that rule name as phone value and the email ID. Phone or email ID here. Phone or email is required for new lead records. So now here I'm indicating the condition. This is the condition. Let me paste this condition over here. I'm indicating this. Now, I'm preparing this condition. Let's check the syntax. It is indicating that no errors found, so there is no syntactical mistakes inside my code. It is perfect. Now it is indicating that I want to show this error message. Please enter contact number or email for new lead records. For new lead records. Please enter contact number or email ID, okay, for new lead records. I want to show this error message, okay, I want to show this error message at the top of the page here, not at the field level, because here I'm verifying for two fields here. I want to show this error message, any one of this, which are on the top of that page here. How can we do? Now let's see practically in this case. Now, so let's save this one. So now my rule has been created successfully. Let's verify. I'm creating a new lead record here. Click on new button to create a new lead record. First name I'm indicating like as some sample. Last name some test lead. Company like as some IBM I'm indicating like that. So this is the new lead record. So I haven't entered phone value. I did not enter the email ID value also. Let me see this one. In this case, it should not accept this record. Compulsorily, you have to enter either phone number or email ID mandatorily, any one of that, so that the sales people can contact you. It is indicating that please enter contact number or email ID for the new lead record. This is the new lead record, so compulsorily you have to enter. For example, I'm entering the phone number. Okay. No, I'm not entering email ID. So it should accept that record as it is. Click on save. My record will be saving as it is. So now this is what? This is the existing record right now. Why? Because it is having ID. Record is created one. So this is a existing record. So we can make this value empty also here. For the existing records, you both may be empty also, no problem. When you click on save, it will be accepting as it is. But only for the new record, compulsorily we have to enter either email ID or phone. Like that, here we can differentiate. Upon creating the new record, if you want to do some certain validation, you can use is new function. Okay. If you want to work on both, then we don't use to. We no need to use that function is new. Okay. Now, the next one. The next function is pick value. And then text literal. Is pick value function. So what is the use of this function? Now let's see. I will give you the syntax over here in the second line. Is pick value. So what is the use of this function here? Basically, this function is used to compare. Okay, this function is used to compare the specified field value is this or not. Like I want to know. Okay, like I want to know. So whether the current value of the pick list rating value is hot or not, I want to cross check. Whether the currently selected industry is finance or not. Whether the currently selected location is Bangalore or not, I want to know that. So in this case, if you want to know the currently selected value in this pick list field is equals to a specific option or not, we are using this is pick value function. So is pick value function is used to compare the currently selected value in the pick list is equals to the text literal or not. For that reason, we are going to be using this is pick value function. Let me give the syntax over here first. Is pick value. Here we can specify the pick list field name, comma, you can specify the text literal. Text literal means some string value. That's it. Now, this function is used to compare the currently selected value in the specified pick list field is equals to the text literal or not. Okay. Now, if the currently selected value in the pick list field is equals to the text literal, it will return true, or else it will return the value false. Now, so now here in this case, so now in this case, in order to know the currently selected value inside this pick list field value is equals to the specified string value or not, we are going to create this. So now if both are same, it returns true, or else it will returns false. Okay. If both the values are same, it returns true, or else it will returns false. Now, in this case here, if both the values are same, it returns true. Else, it returns false. In order to know whether the currently selected value inside the pick list field value is equals to this text literal or not, we are using this ESPickval function. For example, we can verify ESPickval. The currently selected value inside that rating field is equals to hard or not. Okay, we can compare like this. If it is hard, it returns true. Or else it will returns false. To know that ESPickval, the currently selected value inside this industry field value is equals to some finance or not. If yes, it returns true, or else it will returns false. If the currently selected value inside this pick list field, like some designation. Designation is my custom field here, whether it is equals to some software engineer or not. If both are same, it returns true, or else it returns false. Like that, here we can able to use this ESPickval function also. So how to use this function and then how to prepare some validations, we'll see practically in tomorrow's session. Tomorrow we'll be having the two more functions are available. We'll see how can we use that previous value function, how to use that regular expression function. We'll see in tomorrow's session, and then we'll start the concept of one more new feature that is called as formula fields. How can we use the formula fields? We'll see practically in this case.
So I have a question.